What a complete waste. Alright. That's pretty far away, actually. Yeah, so the idea here is I'm going to use the dog to at least get some basic damage done on the enemies. So much AP damage. I'm going to move Minerva here as well, because I think Glory can take this guy out this turn. I won't reload just because that's losing a little too much tempo. Let's do a wide load, because this guy's so close to death. There we go. And then she can finish him off with... Wasteful. Okay, so I should probably start with a Frey armor. Just make sure I do... Okay, well, I don't need to worry about anything else after that, so... Cautiously optimistic that we'll get through this. Oh, the Sleepbringer, thank you so much. Let me do this properly, because I've usually been pretty bad at giving people their due, so... I used to have, like, I actually took the time to make a proper hosting animation, but I noticed it doesn't seem to enable... It doesn't seem to enable whenever I actually get hosted, so let me just take a minute here and do it the old-fashioned way. Clearly the majority of you are people coming from the Sleepbringers channel, so first of all, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm System Shock. I'm also a member of Team Panda. For those of you unfamiliar with Team Panda, maybe somebody on my channel who wasn't paying attention. No, but basically Team Panda is set up by Sirius Eclaira, who is also streaming right now. And basically kind of designed to support some streamers who are inside of our community. So I don't get a chance to see the Sleepbringer as often as I would like to. Every time I've been there, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. And I think, again, I don't need to tell you that if you're coming in there from his channel. But basically we're playing Shadowrun Dragonfall right now. I think it looks like I'm probably getting close to the end game here. I'm in one of the combat sections, which is a little bit more like XCOM. One of the drawbacks I've run into in this game is that I made a very not combat-oriented character. But it seems like right now we're kicking ass. So we need to defuse 3 bombs within 6 more turns. So, how's it going, Sleepbringer? I don't know if you got to hear my previous welcome, but thank you so much for the host. And it looks like a few people actually also hit the follow button, so again, this is one of these examples where Twitch Alerts doesn't seem to be doing what I had assigned it to. But what were you playing tonight? I didn't... either I've been streaming too long or I wasn't observant on my follows, but what were you... What was I missing out on? My god, there's a lot of you. Sorry. I just noticed the spike. Super Smash Brothers tournament. That's awesome. That definitely sounds... I was going to say, I can only imagine. Like, I don't think I've ever had somebody say that they went for a Smash tournament and didn't have at least one match that everybody was talking about. So that's definitely a good excuse for me to go and check out the VODs. I'll actually admit I have not played a lot of Smash Brothers just because the only console I've really ever owned is the Nintendo Wii. So I am in sort of this unfortunate situation where I know Smash. I've seen people play Smash, but I've not actually played it myself that much. Oh, there we go. I have no idea what name that was because I didn't click over at time, but thank you very much for following. I do now have 2 monitors set up, but the second monitor I'm actually using to look at chat, and if the notifications are slow, I usually have I'm usually back in my chat screen before I look, so. Didn't really get into Smash until the Wii U version, but have a ton of fun playing it. You know, this is actually one of those funny things. Like, I never really considered the Wii. Oh, come on. Well, at least I did some damage, but I never really considered the Wii U, not because I think it's a bad console or that, but it's kind of like, well, I already have a Wii, and I need to buy games and things like that. But there's just so many titles. This is what Nintendo always does. There's just so many really great titles that they make that you're compelled to buy the system just because they consistently make just really fun games. That's great. And I actually didn't know that you were in university, so what are you currently studying? If you don't mind me asking, So it's going to cost me 2 movement to get into cover. Oh, no, it won't. Comp site, beautiful. I feel like you've told that to me before as well. I'm probably just not thinking straight. My, Okay, she's going to miss and this is going to be a disaster, but... Oh, maybe not. I do feel bad for bombing the ghoul, though. Yeah, I TA comp sci, but I couldn't get like a second major or a minor or anything like that. I have too many econ courses that I'm doing, but I know if I didn't get into grad school, I was actually seriously considering doing a second major in comp sci, just because it's something that I really, really enjoy doing. Well, you're also I mean, I get to see you in so many streams too that I have to imagine that you get told a lot of information too. I'll try and pretend that that's my excuse, but I'm probably just bad if I'm honest. Okay, let's do a rip armor on... Oh, not the Inferno, because the Inferno could potentially turn on his allies. So the plan here is to kind of hope for the... oh, wow. The hope here is that the Inferno is going to... Ouch. Is going to turn against his allies. But I did make a big mistake by clustering up like that. Oh, hang on, those are the ghouls, so I don't actually care that much if they die. I don't feel comfortable taking my main character to defuse the bomb, but Glory has got a pretty high armor rating, so let's disable the bomb and then we'll wipe these guys out. Let's start with him. And an aim shot will hopefully take him out. Damn it. Okay. Eiger's my good sniper. I don't think she'll have the range if I go into the door like this. Yeah, so that was wasted movement. I'll do one more move like this just because I really want to take this guy off the board if I can. There we go. And I'll just make sure that Dietrich doesn't stay in place. So one thing I will say about comp sci, one of the reasons why I didn't wind up taking more of it was, as interested as I am in like the complexity of an algorithm or something like that, the course that I took on that, I took at the same time as I did my econometrics and my advanced micro, and like just a really intense term where like every class was just a hard one. So I didn't do very well on it, and I completely appreciate how important that is to to doing good work. Like, to me, it's the difference between like learning how to program and being an actual computer scientist. But I kind of got a little discouraged after doing not doing so well on my big O notation and such. So I regrettably didn't follow through. I'm still probably going to wind up learning a lot of it when I like there's a lot of crossover between econ and comp sci in terms of working with certain types of data, so I have a feeling that the background's going to help me out. But sadly, I always feel like a moron when I talk to my my comp sci friends. Oh, cool. So it's just your first year. Fair enough. Yeah. So I hope I'm not scaring you off of all the stuff that you're going to have later. I was lucky where I had some math upgrading that I needed to do, so I sort of got to intersperse my first year of studies with some of the stuff that I was good at, in addition to some of the new stuff. Learn a bit of Python and Java on your own for that programming stuff that you taught. Yeah. Well, see, I think it's a great way to start, because there's something to be said for understanding a topic on your own terms. But I definitely think there's a value in studying computer science formally, because like the big thing is that, to my mind, like if you program, it's a little bit like, setting my alarm clock, right? If you, Lorgosh, hey, how's it going? I'm doing well. Yourself? But yeah, so like if I just learn a programming language on its own, to me it's like working with an alarm clock. Like, I may not be able to set the time right away, but I spend a little time messing around with it, and I see what's happening. Oh, I should read this. You emerge from the foulness of the sewers, only to be met with an equally dark stench of cordite and death. Although you've saved the Keats, it's far from unharmed. Residents wander the street dazed, holding their wounds, tending to others, observing the damage. The look in their eyes tells the story. Their illusion of safety has been shattered. You enter Paul Amstel's trade emporium, already knowing what you'll find there. The knowledge doesn't make the discovery any easier. But yeah, so like if, eventually I get, I can make it, do what I want, which is to fire off the alarm at the allotted time. And I think the value in formally learning comp sci, like at a university, other than of course the degree makes you employable in that, but you actually study the things that aren't necessarily as fun. So like I find it kind of fun to study a programming language, but understanding some of the theory behind it, which is what I'm currently TAing, is also really important, but maybe not as fun to study on your own. So I think going to a university will give you the exposure to the sorts of things that big companies like Amazon.com or Google or even Twitch worry about, which is like, once you start getting arbitrarily large inputs, how does your code behave? And overall, it makes you a better coder, so that you can still capture the passion that you have from what you've learned on your own, but you also refine that with some very solid foundations. So I think overall it makes you good. Oh, good Lord, Lorgosh. You got good chocolate cheesecake? I'm jealous. Once again, the team gathers around Paul Amstel, but tonight he has no more missions to offer and no advice to give. His body lies motionless on the hardwood cooling in the night air. The ruin of his face can be seen from under the burlap tarp. For several minutes, nobody speaks. Finally, Dietrich steps forward. I think we should say something about Paul. There's another moment of silence, then Eiger speaks up. I'll go. Eiger brings herself to attention. She stares straight ahead. Paul Amstel was an important member of this team, and he supported us well. He said what he was going to do, and he did it. That's rare. That's worthy of respect. She looks down at the body. There's a long pause before she speaks again. Thank you, Paul Amstel, for everything. Another pause. Her voice softens. I was out of position when they came for you. I couldn't save you. I'm sorry. The others shift uncomfortably, not knowing what to say. Glory breaks the awkward moment, her voice a frosty monotone. I appreciate what Amstel did for us. It's another loss, one that this team can't afford. Glory's eyes sweep across the group, then land on Amstel's body. Her expression is impossible to read. You're really enjoying your studies. You hope you continue this time. So from that, I guess that you had originally started some kind of studies and didn't pursue them? After a moment, she turns her head to look at you. It's hard, I know, but this is why we need to keep together, support each other. No one's going to look out for us but us. Dietrich eyes you appreciatively. Yeah, that's right. There's more to this than a mercenary's paycheck. There has to be. Goodbye, Paul. Gott sie mit dir. First went to college to studying music ed, but after spending some time working at the school, you realize it's not what you want to do for a living. I actually have a tremendous respect for that, the Sleepbringer. There's a lot of people who will, either through pressure from parents or anything like this, set out on a particular path, and it's like, I have to go to school, I have to get a job, and like they'll really force something that's not working. So I think there's actually a great virtue in dropping something that's not working out. I know there's people I know who are in careers that they do not like, just because it's a paycheck. So it's cool. I think a really great indicator is the fact that you've already learned some programming on your own. I will tell you, it'll get harder. But I think as long as you can still hang on to that passion that you had at the beginning, you should come out on top. And I mean, I know comp sci is a decidedly employable degree, so it's one where I think I guess depending on the school, but they usually have things like co-op programs or internships that if it starts getting a little too academic, there's sometimes outlets, or even your own stuff, right? Like the nice thing about computer science is you can always do your own little pet projects, so that if you ever feel like things are getting too academic, you can always go back to something that you had passion for to begin with. So. As if in turn, Dante lowers his head sadly, lets out a heavy sigh, and closes his eyes. We'll miss you, Paul. Don't worry about the body. I know what to do. Be respectful, but be quick. After all, it's only a shell. Paul is with Monica now. We're all going to be with Monica soon if we don't do something. The Fire One came after us once. She'll do it again. This is about more than just us. No, screw that. I'm not a hero. And if she doesn't care, if she brings down an entire Keats to get us. Can't argue with that, boss. While the Feuerschrangen lives, the Kreutz Bazaar is at risk. Our friends, our home, everything that Monica and Paul fought to protect. They'll all be destroyed if we don't put an end to her first. Come on, everyone. Let's get a look at that optical chip. I want to see what we're dealing with. Oh, and we've got upgrades. So speed loader, Eiger gains an ability that reloads all of her equipped weapons for 0 AP. Wow! And sniper specialist, Eiger gains an ability that can target 2 enemies in one action. Both of those are amazing. I'm going to do sniper specialist though. Dragon Slayer's Wrath, which replaces Dragon Slayer Idol, now harms foes within 3 tiles of Dietrich's well, I'm not going to have Dietrich close to them, so Dragon Slayer's Shield, Idol grows more powerful, decreasing incoming damage an additional 2 points. So we'll do that. And Glory can get an upgraded Bumona click or a Ruger Super Warhawk. Well, in this case, I actually want the Bumona kit just because I tend to use her for melee a lot. So my team is complete. The cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. A blinking message in the upper right corner notifies you that you have 0 unread messages. Read the contents of Alice's optical chip. You slot the optical chip into the computer's waiting chip jack. On the screen, Alice's office blossoms into view. A half-second later, a real-time simulation of Alice appears. Seated behind her mahogany desk, something about it reminds you of a figure from a wax museum. Lifelike, but dead inside. It greets you with a facsimile of Alice's joyless smile. Customer name? Minerva. Its voice is hollow, synthetic, an automaton masquerading as a living woman. One who you've never met in the flesh. Account number 1012579. Greetings, valued customer. I am an offline simulacrum of the Alice persona. I have been included on this chip to answer any questions that you might have about your information purchase. If you are ready to proceed, I will present Alice's findings. You may interrupt this presentation at the point by saying, Alice, I have a question. A pleasure as well, Sleepbringer. I hope you have a good sleep. Thank you again very much for the host, and we will see you the next time. And for those of you who haven't already, we gave the link to Sleepbringer up above. Please feel free to give him a follow. He's a fun stream. I'm going to be checking out the Smash VOD when I'm done tonight. And he's a good friend of the streams and a good friend of Team Pandas. We're ready. Let's get the show on the road. Very well. Commencing presentation. The simulacrum goes rigid for a moment, then seems to relax. When it speaks, it sounds more natural, as though the real Alice is speaking through it. Alright, Minerva, I've got good news for you and I've got bad news. Let's start with the good news. I found Volcaire and he is alive. Thank God. The trail to your missing doctor was a long and slippery one. The fee you paid me barely covered my costs for the job. I sent a team into the Sox on a fact-finding mission. I bribed government officials. I greased the palms of the wage slaves at megacorps all across Europe. Each step I took eliminated possibilities, drew me a little bit closer, and finally I found a place where Volcaire is being held. The simulacrum makes a sweeping gesture with its right hand, and an image switchblades onto the screen, a grainy overhead photograph annotated with map coordinates. You recognize... This is where you'll find him. He's being held captive at a remote estate called Harfield Manor. You've got to be kidding me. He was there the whole time? Glory says nothing. She just studies the photograph and nods. Say nothing. Simulacrum pauses. A brief tremor washes over its body. Its eyes flutter. You can hear the sound of the computer working to process more of the chip's data. Eiger turns to address the team. If Volcaire is at Harfeld, we've got problems. The last time we broke into this place, they took Monica out. It was a miracle that any of you got out alive. Yeah, but now we know what's down there. This time we're prepared for it. We can handle this. Eiger shakes her head. No, it'll be even worse this time. The first time we went in, we had the element of surprise on our side. But now they'll be expecting us. They're hunting us, remember? The security team is going to be waiting for us, Dietrich. That Aldrin bastard is going to be waiting for us. And even if we make it past them, we're going to have to deal with the dragon in the basement. Well, what else can we do? Cut and run? The last time I checked, that wasn't an option either. Even if it were, I wouldn't take it. I'm not running from this. Not after what they did here tonight. None of us are, Glory, but Eiger's right. We can't go charging in there again. Not without some kind of edge. The simulacrum jerks back to life. It resumes speaking, blissfully unaware of the conversation that it's cutting off. And now, Minerva, on to the bad news. You now know where Volcaire is, but rescuing him will not be possible. Alice, I have a question, he continues without waiting for a response. Why the hell not? In the course of my investigation, I encountered something terrifying in the Matrix. It was fast, cunning, and definitely intelligent. I'm convinced I only escaped because it let me go. It could have killed me in a heartbeat if it wanted to. That thing that I met is protecting the Harfield Manor, and it's going after anyone who gets too close to what's happening there. Alice, what did you see in there? What is going after these people? By way of explanation, I would like you to read the following document. The simulacrum makes another sweeping gesture, and the menu slides back onto the screen. This time it is filled with text. What you're looking at is an archive forum discussion from the early days of the Shadowland BBS. When you're finished reading it over, say, Alice, I'm done, and we can continue. Read the archive discussion. As you lean in to read, the text slowly begins to scroll up from the bottom of the screen. You hear about the SK team that got crisped a few hours ago? The whole lab's worth of researchers, all burned and broken beyond recognition. Ugly stuff. Clockwork. At this point, who hasn't? Big Pharma. Power spike. Got them right through their data jacks like a bolt of lightning to the brain. A 1 in a million accident is what they're saying. Mr. Mayhem. And you believe that? Clockwork. You've got a more plausible explanation? Mr. Mayhem. Yes, actually. It was a cleanup operation. Color me intrigued. What were they cleaning up? A secret project that Lofir didn't want anything to do with. You might have heard rumors about it. The project name was Apex. And you've lost me. Apex, Clockwork? Seriously? That old line of Drek? I'm telling you, Jokers, Apex is real. Or at least it was until the Whizworm pulled the plug. Come on, Clockwork. We're still decades away from seeing a fully functional AI, and you know that. Those Apex stories have been floating around. They're just some conspiracy nut's wet dream. Fine, keep your head in the sand. Some of us want to know the truth when we read it. Or some of us know the truth when we read it. Okay, Clock, I'll humor you. But riddle me this. If Lofir had an armed operational AI in his claws, why kill it? You remember what happened to most of Echo Mirage? The crash virus killed them, fried their brains, but I don't see what that has to do with anything. With the commercial release of CDT-1000, some security firms were working on a counter-intrusion software that could do the same thing. Black Ice. You can look it up if you don't believe me. Whoa, scary stuff, man. Well, the goal of the Apex project was even scarier. Ice waits for you to come in. Apex wouldn't be bound by those restrictions. It could go out hunting, hit the targets when they least expected it. That's why they called it Apex. It was designed to be the apex predator of the digital world. And so rather than using it to his advantage, Lofir decided to kill it in the cradle? The Wizroom's no fool. Some things are too dangerous to play around with. How would you put that genie back in the bottle if it ever slipped out of your control? Answer, you couldn't. And then it would take over the world! Okay, this thread has officially gone off the rails. I'm closing it down for the good of mankind. The slow scroll as text comes to a stop. The simulacrum jerks back to life, then settles into a neutral pose. There's no official records of the Sater-Krupp database to support the existence of the Apex project, but the thing that I encountered was Apex. Of that I am certain. Just as I'm certain that Apex was responsible for the deaths of Monica Schaefer, Green Winters, Clockwork, Peregrine, and a score of other Deckers over the past 16 years. Alice, question. I thought they said that Lofir killed Apex. They speculated as much, yes. They were wrong on that count. I do believe that Sater-Krupp was developing Apex as a tool for Matrix warfare. I'm also convinced that the IT personnel who were killed were the Apex development team. But I don't think that Lofir was responsible for their deaths. Apex killed them. That'd be my guess, yes. In the turmoil surrounding Lofir's buyout of Sater-Krupp, a number of projects went missing. I believe that Apex was appropriated by a member of Feuerschrang's organization at this point. It was then unleashed on its own development team to silence them. Since then, it has provided information control for the Firewing. A pet AI would explain how Feuerschrang has managed to maintain her conspiracy and avoid detection for the past decade. Anytime anyone gets close, the AI team takes them out and scrubs the records clean. So there's your bad news, Minerva. Volkera is being held at the Harfeld Manor, but knowing that does you no good, because you can't approach the place. I doubt you could open the door without Apex frying you. We did last time. They were trying to protect their secret. Like Audrun said, if we hadn't gone down into the basement, they'd have let us go. Apex didn't react to us until Monica attempted to force the door to the basement. And now that the cat's out of the bag, they have no reason not to pull out the big guns on sight. Dietrich grimaces. You're right. We can't go back while Apex is in place. The room falls into silence. Finally, Eiger turns to you. What's the play, Minerva? We can't turn back now. If Apex is standing between us and Volkera, then we need to find a way to kill Apex. Fucking A, boss. I'm in. Did you hear that, Alice? Do you have any suggestions? The simulacrum hitches again. The pause stretches. Finally, it comes back to life. The AI has a kill switch, but Alice deemed any additional contact with Apex to be an unjustifiable risk. Attempting to reach the kill switch would be inadvisable. I'll be the judge of that. Alice, tell us about Apex's kill switch. The simulacrum stares at you with dead eyes. Thanks to my close encounter with the AI, I was able to run a trace on it. Through this trace, I discovered the physical address of a backdoor access point for Apex's programming, an old Seder Krupp research lab, long since abandoned and fallen into disrepair. The facility is now hotly contested gang territory. I've also determined that a kill switch for the AI exists somewhere in the basement of this facility. I will provide you with a physical address. This smells like a trap to me, Minerva. Why else would Apex have let Alice escape? She turns to address the simulacrum on the screen. Alice, why would a Matrix Warfare AI allow you to bring us this information? It stares straight ahead. Its eyes are dead. I'm afraid the answer to that question falls outside of the scope of my written parameters. The simulacrum stutters one final time, then looks up at you with an apologetic smile. You've now reached the end of the presentation. I have been encoded with a final message from Alice to Minerva. Playback commencing. The simulacrum's eyes go wide and life floods back to it. It stares directly at you. Minerva, if you didn't listen to me before, listen to me now. Drop this. Stop going after Valkyr. Get out of Berlin and stay out of the Matrix. I'm telling you this for your own good. That's all I have to say. I'm following my own advice. I'm out. Don't try to contact me again. The simulacrum reverts to its idle state, slumping like a puppet with its string cut. Its eyes glaze over and its face goes slack. The screen then cuts to black. So the dragon has a killer AI in charge of security. Can't say I'm surprised, but then nothing surprises me anymore. We know what killed Monica. We have a name for it, and we know how to kill it. That's good enough for me. We know what we have to do. We can either stand around talking about it, or we can go do it. Agreed. We shut down Apex and we re-enter the estate and rescue Valkyr. He's the key to this whole thing. Sounds like a plan, boss. Alice said that the kill switch is located in some old SK facility. Assuming that the site was shut down sometime after the Apex project disappeared, it could have stood empty for years, maybe decades. She also said that the building was in gang territory now. I wonder if it'll be anything like Das Kesselhaus was. There's only one way to find out. Let's get prepped. This thing isn't going to kill itself. And don't forget, boss, we're taking on an AI here. I'd recommend bringing the best cyber deck that you can afford. Something tells me that we're going to need all the firepower we can get. Eiger begins her weapons check. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Whatever's there, we'll deal with it. First, we find our way to the basement. She peers through the scope of her sniper rifle. And then we kill the AI that killed Monica. Damn right. The team breaks to begin gearing up. As she slides a shell into her shotgun, Eiger catches your eye. You did good out there defending the Kreutz Bazaar. You've had our backs the entire way, made good decisions. I appreciate that. Now you need to forgive yourself. You weren't out of position, Eiger, and you know it. Eiger scowls at the floor. Thanks. Can't do it, but thanks. Anyway, we should get back to it. We've got an AI to take out after all. She pauses for a moment, frowning. Minerva, do me a favor and keep your eyes open on this one. We're walking into the unknown here. Makes me a little uneasy. Don't worry, Eiger. I've got your back. She smiles, claps you on the shoulder. I know you do, and I've got yours. You've more than earned it. Let's get to work. Without another word, the troll slides her shotgun into the sheath and pulls back to continue her pre-mission checklist. This might be a good point to cut, but I think I'll go as far as I can into it. It's just hit midnight here, so I have a bit of homework that I need to do. I think what I will do, though, is I'll try and I'll do some of the story stuff. I'll see if I can buy a better cyber deck. The attack, it was terrible, Minerva. So much death. She shakes her head. I had not killed since I retired from running in the shadows. Not until today. But you're not here to listen to me complain. So what can I get for you? Name it and I will provide. So for 5,000 I can get a Firelight Excalibur, and I have no idea how I'm going to get 5,000. What happens if I sell my existing deck? Only 1,000. Yeah, well, okay, so there's some stuff I can sell. But Maybe I'll just get the better software. So... I think killer level 3. I use blaster. Maybe get another one, but I'll buy these first. I can also sell the level 2 versions, which is extremely weird, the idea of selling software like that. So, can I afford a medic? Yes, I can. How was my Easter? It was alright. I'll admit, I didn't actually get that much done. I actually played a lot more games than I thought I was going to. I got Outlast in, I played Heroes of the Storm, played a lot of the Secret World, which was a lot of fun. But I didn't do a whole lot. I ran into a couple of friends, but all of my family's in a different province, so I didn't really do a whole lot of hanging out. I know you're enjoying your cheesecake, but other than that, anything else that you did for Easter, Lorgosh? Minerva, what a relief it is to see you alive. Samuel wraps you in an enormous hug. You should know that your generosity has saved dozens of lives. What happened? When the attackers came, we all took refuge in the Minerva Civic Center. Its strong walls and sturdy gate kept us all safe from harm. Had our people been on the street, had they been in our old building, which came under fire during the attack, none of them would be alive. We owe you, Minerva, now more than ever. You may not look on yourself as a hero, but to the people of the Kreutz Bazaar, that is what you will always be. In the aftermath of the attack, you were surprised to see Simi Kim has survived with only a few scrapes and bruises. You saved us. As many as I could. So many more would have been gone if you hadn't been here. Are you hurt? I lost my shoe when I was running, and then I fell. But Doc Escabel found me. He picked me up, took me with him. He hid me in a drawer, gave me a blanket, and told me to be quiet. It was so dark and it smelled, but I didn't make a sound. I heard yelling, things breaking, and gunshots, I think. If I had one of my Sims, I could have just gone inside, but I didn't, so I had to stay out here. Oh, that's cool, Lorgosh. I'll admit, I've not played a lot of Diablo 3. I only played the demo, but another member of Team Panda, Black Dahlia, has been playing it quite a bit recently. It looks like a lot of fun. I know the game had a bit of a bad reputation when it first came out, but a lot of people seem to be really positive about the updates to it, so I've been kind of tempted to check it out and see what it's like. And eat cheesecake, yeah. It's probably the most important part. I don't know how long it was, but when the drawer opened, it was over. Maybe Doc Escabel has some redeeming qualities. Maybe. I'm going to check on the others. Okay. Lucky Strike stands in her customary place, her gear piled atop a nearby bar stool. For once she isn't smoking. She gives you a small nod as you approach. Hey again, Minerva. What's up? I've been meaning to ask, what's up with the tattooed circuitry? Is it purely decorative, or... it is now. Wasn't always, though. She stretches her neck so that the circuit pattern on her face can catch the light. What you're looking at used to be tattoo magic. Got it done when I was in Tokyo doing a job for the Yakuza. Tattoo magic, huh? That's a new one on me. Yeah, it was for me too. It's a meta magic thing. A way of quickening spells to a person. Binding magic into the flesh so it's almost impossible to get rid of. Anyway, long story short, I found a way to break it. Now it just looks pretty in the lamplight. You started playing Diablo 3 the first time last month, so the game is new to you, and you made a barbarian. That's cool. Barbarian looked like a lot of fun. I'm not sure what class I would play first, but I've got so much stuff to play right now anyway that I probably wouldn't start a new game until I kind of cleared through my list. Like Sunless Sea is an example of a game that I really want to get back to as well, that I think would take some time to get through the whole way. I'm not interested in this dialogue. Yeah, it looks good on you. I think so. Good thing too. Getting this thing removed would be a real pain. Why break the magic? Were the tattoos cursed or something? She snorts. Cursed. Funny choice of words, but I guess it applies. When I went to New York to work for the Yaks, they insisted that I let them ink me. Said that I'd need it for the job. Long story short, the tattoos did boost my abilities, but they also branded me, marked me as Yakuza property, and gave them an easy way of tracking me from the astral plane. Sounds bad. It was. By the time that I knew what was happening, it was almost too late to do anything about it. I did find a solution, but it wasn't pretty. What did you do? Studying a new character. So, what is the differences between the seasons, Lorgosh? I didn't quite understand that part when people are talking about seasons in Diablo 3. Is it like some kind of competitive thing that's happening? A long list of unpleasant things, starting with killing the guy who inked me. The whole thing ended in a pretty dark place. The upshot of all of this is I can't go back to Japan ever, but at least I got my autonomy back. She pauses for a moment to light up another cigarette. After she fills her lungs with smoke, she continues. So the moral of this story, I guess, is not to take an employer's word at face value. It's a lesson that every Shadowrunner needs to learn sooner or later, but I had a harder time with it than most. Now, can we talk about something else? Or better yet, can we shut up and have a drink or two? All this yapping is making me thirsty. I don't mind not talking to her. So I should stop by Escabel just because of that story with Simi. I just can't really afford any cool stuff, so... Minerva, Dr. Escabel gives you a once-over and nods. I see that you made it through the attack relatively unscathed. Did you have any run-ins with the attackers? No. Truth be told, I was in my surgery when the attackers hit, and they never disturbed my office. I spent the entire sorry event elbows deep in the abdomen of an elderly dwarf. His nephretic screen needed a tune-up. That's funny. Simi Kim tells a different story. The sound of Simi names wipes a smile from his face. He stares at you, color draining from his cheeks. Ah, yes. Kim. I didn't know you two were acquainted. So which is it, Doc? Were you sealed up in your office for the attack, or did you help her out? I did both. When I heard the gunshots, I ducked out of my office to find the girl. When I got back, I hid her away and went directly into surgery. Thanks to a copious dose of isoflurane and nitrous oxide, my patient was blissfully unaware of the interruption. Kimmy said she also heard gunshots and breaking glass. Care to revise the story any further? Escabel's lips tighten in distaste. Please don't call her that. Her name is Kim. And yes, an attacker did break in partway through the operation. He fired his weapon into the wall and shattered some very delicate equipment. Seems like he made it through in one piece. Quite. We all rode out of the conflict unscathed. My elderly patient has the distinction of being the only Kreutz Bazaar resident to emerge from an attack better off than he was before he started. There's a long pause. Escabel tries on another smile, but it fades away quickly. I don't intend to spend any longer on this, Minerva. I've already said my piece. I feel a certain level of responsibility for Kim's welfare. Never mind why. So I took care of her the best that I can. That's all I intend to say on the subject, so we can talk shop or you can leave. Your choice. I choose leave. A season is a new start. It means that a player needs to start from level 1 on each season if they wish to play in the season. Oh, there's seasonal loot draw. Okay, got it. What does Zach Flash have to say about the attack? That was crazy, mein Freuden. Bullets flying, people dropping like flies. Crazy. Old Zach had to use his magic on a few of them. See that puddle over there? He lazily points to a yellow-green stain on the cobblestones, then gives you a slow nod. Yeah, that was one of them. Attacker, thy name is Goo. Yeah, I think I get it, Lorgosh. So basically, it's a way of sort of keeping the game fresh. So it's no longer people are basically building characters to the, to level something stratospheric, but basically it's a way of getting everybody at a basic level to compete. Sounds interesting. One of these days you're going to have to demonstrate this powerful magic of yours to me. His smile widens. One of these days, mein Freuden, absolutely. But today you're here for a reason. What can old Zach get for you? Nothing. I'm just here to talk about the attacks. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot special going on though, so let's go to the U-Bahn. Assemble the team, travel to the coordinates that Alice provided, and find a backdoor access point and shut down the Apex AI. Alright, so Glory, Dietrich, Eiger. I'm tempted to add Dante, actually, but definitely hurting for items, but we'll get through it. Minerva doesn't have that great of a name for the grenades anyway, so I suppose it's not that bad that she's not equipped with them. Apex Rising. Apex, an artificial intelligence designed for matrix warfare. The thought of it sends a chill down your spine. For years, the shadows have been ripe with rumors of true AI. Names like Mirage and Psychotrope have fueled conspiracy boards on the Shadowland BBS since 2029. Most savvy Shadowrunners dismiss these stories as bunk. But from what Alice has told you, at least one of these stories is real. Apex is waiting for you somewhere down in the basement of an abandoned Saterkrupp lab. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wade through a lot of gang territory to get there. Oh, right, so the Bomona kit. So Minerva's got one. Glory's got one. Dietrich has one, but Eiger doesn't, so yeah, that's not actually too bad of a loadout. I probably could have sold some of this software, but it wouldn't have gotten me a whole lot. Let's see what I can spend my karma on. I kind of want to just put it into... Oh, wow, I've got a lot. So there's a side of me that thinks that actually street might be... Or the etiquette might be good, but let's see what I can do with my ranged combat. Yeah, I'm going for it. I think it probably already autosaved, but... Jesse Quill, how's it going? As you can see, we've somewhat got over our insanity. A huge orc in ragged combat fatigue steps forward to meet you. He walks with the swollen bravado of a man who's used to getting what he wants. One of his meaty arms jerks up, hand held upright in the universal sign for stop. The other clutches a bulky assault rifle. The orc inspects you. His body language is decidedly unfriendly. You don't look like a Magnificer. Good to hear, Jessica. I'm glad you came back. I know I always feel bad, especially on like Monday streams, which seem cursed. I always feel bad when stuff isn't working on the start, because sometimes I hit lulls. So it's like sometimes there's like problems at the beginning, then I have a few moments where I don't stream as well as I probably should. So it's nice to have friendly faces. Sleepbringer came by. I don't know if you're here for that, but he's hosting us right now, which is very kind. So you don't look like a Magnificer. You're not one of us, and I'm guessing you ain't here for the hub either. So tell me, who are you, and what's your interest in this building? Need to get into the basement. It's important. Oh, it's important, you say. He makes a sweeping gesture in the direction of the building behind him. The other assorted toughs behind him smile. Well, by all means, go in then. I absolutely love the fact that there's these two options. So, intelligence 2, you're being sarcastic. Ha, you're a sharp one. He smiles at you, revealing a mouth filled with jagged teeth. This building's under arbitrary protection. We can't just let you waltz in and shoot up the place. Not planning on shooting anything. Not unless I have to. Yeah, well, I can't exactly take that at face value. Look, it'd be better for everyone if you just turn back. We don't want to fight you, but we can't risk letting an unknown player into this... He pauses for a moment to search for the right word. Situation right now. Maybe I could help you out with your situation. Well, that puts a different spin on things. He pauses for a moment to consider. You look like you can handle yourself. We could probably use you if you're willing to help. There'd be even some money in it for you. But if not, well, the assault rifle in his hand shifts position slightly. That's a different conversation. And what exactly do you want us to do? Eiger's tone is neutral, her posture relaxed, but one of her hands casually comes to rest on the butt of her shotgun. Ulrich doesn't seem to notice. We're having some trouble with a local mage gang, the Magnificers. The orc turns his head and spits. They've attacked us without warning, took up in our building and kicked us onto the street. Me and my boys, we're the rightful protectors of this block, but the assholes that screwed us, they've got the building buttoned up pretty tight. We can't get in there to make things right, but maybe you can. If you could enter the building and do some damage to those Drek-eating Magnificers, the Arbiters would be willing to pay you. 200 million per kill. You bring me back their amulets and you get paid. How does that sound? Eiger raises an eyebrow. Your call, fearless leader. You know the timetable we're working on. So, Charisma 5, turns out it wouldn't have been worth it to spend money on that anyway. I'll say it's a deal just because I really need that new cyber deck. Good. Yeah, I think this will work. Eiger gives you a small nod. Her hand falls away from the stock of her shotgun. Need anything else, or are you going to go crack some skulls? So one more thing. I need to get into the basement. Anything you can do that'd help me out? Basement? What would you possibly want to go there for? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. You'd be surprised what I'll believe. Try me. Alright, I need to stop a killer AI so that I can rescue an elderly scientist from a ghost dragon. The future of Berlin could be at stake. You're right, I don't believe you. You're either lying or you're crazy. But crazy has its uses. Alright, I'll get you into that basement, but it'll cost you. Of course it will, Dietrich sneers. Another Bush League extortionist trying to milk us for cash. Got the wrong idea. I don't need Nguyen, friend. What I need is Trithemus's head on a fucking platter. Problem is he's holed up somewhere in the building and we don't know where. Best guess he's hiding somewhere upstairs in a room with no exterior windows. Somewhere, probably someplace close, he stashed a power coupling for the elevator. He pulled it to keep us from getting access to the guns we stashed in the basement. So you go and find and kill Trithemus, grab the coupling out of the apartment, and bring me the stupid amulet he's always wearing so I know he's dead. He cracks a grin. Then I'll give you the control chip I pulled when we had to fall back. Slot them both into the elevator, and it'll take you straight to the basement. Yeah, alright. I'll see what I can do. So in this case, I probably would have went for street etiquette instead of gang etiquette, but It's one place where upgrading the charisma would have helped. Good. Just remember, no amulet, no basement. Now go on through and show that little prick what it means to scroll with the Arbiters. Front entrance. Is there any other option? Nope. All right, let's see how far we can get in this. The attendant from behind the counter is an uncommonly fine-featured dwarf with a beatific smile. A yellow ID tag pinned to his chest announces his name in large, blocky letters. Parson. He nods at you and raises a hand in greeting. Welcome to the hub, sister. Are you ready to share in the splendor of the communion? If so, I can show you to an empty terminal. What do you do here? I am the custodian of the hub. I tend to the bodies of our brothers and sisters while they share in the rapture of the communion. I might be interested. Tell me more. Communion is a spiritual experience, friend, available to all for a small donation. He gestures at the banks of terminals lining the walls. The hub acts as the core of the communion. Those who jack in are in turn linked to one another, daisy-chained together at the brainstem. Oh, that sounds good with the Apex AI. Race, gender, social class, all of the artificial barriers to empathy that we've constructed as a culture. Oh, okay, it's probably skipped some dialogue. Communion strips them all away. It's a monument to the great truth that so many of us deny, that we are all the same at the core. Imagine it, friend. Dozens of individual minds, all tied together in a single cohesive whole, sharing in a collaborative subconscious, connected through the hub. Parson, raises his hands in supplication. Join with us and feel your limitations fall away. Not right now, thanks. Parson inclines his head. The smile does not falter. Whenever you are ready, you may return. Is there anything more that I can help you with in the meantime? I have some questions for you about local gang activity. He nods. We do seem to have more than our fair share. Very well, I will answer your questions. I'm looking for Trithemius. Any idea how I could find him? The smile fades away from Parsons' face. Trithemius is a dangerous man. Why do you ask? I have business with him. Private business. He studies your face for a moment, then nods. Fair enough. Trithemius is almost certainly upstairs, hidden away from the outside world. I wouldn't advise going after him, but if your mind is made up, I suppose I can't change it. Yes, I can tell you how to find him, but I will need something from you in return. Yeah, of course you will. Saw that coming, Dietrich sighs. Tell us what you need. A pair of squatters on the second floor ripped the guts out of one of my terminals. They've taken the data track signal converter, and the terminal will be out of commission until I get it back. A single damaged terminal may not sound like much, but trust me, the entire experience of communion has been diminished by this act of vandalism. I believe that I know the squatters responsible. Their leader's name is Janet. She is a decker of some skill. I don't know what she has planned for my parts, but I do know that the situation will not stand. I cannot allow another terminal to be damaged. And so you want us to deal with them for you? Yes, but not with violence. I want you to talk with them and convince them to bring me back my components. Do this and I'll tell you how to get to Trithemius. Deal? Sounds straightforward enough. Excellent. It's a deal then. Can you tell me anything about this building? Beyond the hub, there isn't much to speak of. There's a small shop down the hall if you're hungry or in need of basic supplies. He shrugs and offers you an apologetic smile. That's about it, I'm afraid. What about the upper levels? There are floors above us, of course, but you're unlikely to find anything of value up there, just the domiciles of the faithful and the magnificers who have taken charge of the building. I would steer clear of them if I were you. I need to get down to the basement. Ah, that would be difficult. Stairwell leading down to the building's sublevels have been blocked, and the elevator has been sabotaged. It stopped working at the same time the arbiters were driven from this building. As we discussed, if you recover my stolen property, I will tell you how to find Trithemius. Otherwise, you could try your luck with Ulrich out in front, but I wouldn't recommend it. I don't need anything else, thanks. He inclines his head. Come back any time. That looks exciting. The man behind the counter looks tired. His lids are heavy and his eyes are bloodshot. Welcome to Carl's General Store. What can I do for you? Need some info. He rubs his eyes and does his best to shake himself awake. Yeah, alright. What do you need to know? What's the layout of a place like this? He pauses for a moment, gathering his thoughts. When the words come, they're slow as molasses. Well, you're on the first floor. That's the hub and my shop. The second floor has been mostly converted into makeshift apartments for people to live in. A gang squats up there. The Magnificers. Dangerous people. I'd stay away from them. The third floor is mostly housing too. Lots of Parsons Communion crazies live up there. The Magnificers have a squad up there too. He leans in and lowers his voice to a conspiratorial whisper. I'm pretty sure their main crib is up there too. Don't know exactly where. That's all the info I need for now. Okay, so like, you want to buy something? Nope. The elevator appears to be offline. The control panel's LCD is unlit. Its metal casing is badly dented. Examine the control panel. You easily pry the metal casing away from the wall, exposing a mess of wires and circuitry. After a quick inspection, it becomes clear that the elevator is wired to operate through a control chip. The chip is missing, and it looks though a power coupling has been yanked alongside it. Without these components, there's no way for this elevator to function. Looks like both walls gave way, and they took the roof with them. The entire hallway is blocked by debris. Okay, I get it. I can't go to the basement. Considering the state of the rest of the building, the stairwell looks relatively clean and intact. Let's go to the second floor. Oh good, target practice. Well, they attacked me first. Jesus Christ. Wow. Let's get Dietrich in, and hopefully he can do something useful. Nope. Let's just do a nerve bolt then. Glory definitely can always do something useful. Let's get her to do a... I think I need to do an AP attack on the Conjurer. And Eiger... Looks like it's going to be 2 movement no matter where I put her, so let's get her on the flank. Well, the Conjurer's out, so let's go for the lowest HP. Oh no, let's use my fancy new ability. We'll hit the healer as well. Not impressed. Man, this is tougher than the Dragon's forces. Really, just keep unloading the clip, I guess. Not quite sure what to do with Dietrich. They only have the one AoE. Let's start with some extra speed on Glory. We'll drop a idol. Ah, damn it. Alright. let's take out the oh, god damn. That's 370% chance misses. What is this, XCOM? Wow, and a 75% heal. Or a 25 HP heal. So again, the reason why I'm focusing so much on this guy is I don't want to have to deal with another... I don't want to have to deal with another enemy in the form of a like a summon. So I wanted to take out the Conjurer first, but unfortunately that means I needed to ignore the healer. What the hell? That was supposed to be an attack, not a move. So, the stupid stuff aside, kind of an example of how I like to normally run these encounters. Ideally, the HP thing is something I wasn't really considering that much before, but it's a good way of handling encounters like this, which is, you know, the advantage, like, trolls and orcs look scary, but, send the item to the stash. So basically, like, trolls and orcs look big and tough, but the big thing is that they are bullet sponges. Like, having that higher body rating is going to give them more HP, but a shotgun's going to do a fixed amount of damage no matter what they, you know, no matter who's firing it, right? A dwarf firing a shotgun is going to do as much damage as an orc firing a shotgun, which is going to be the same amount of damage as a Decker firing a shotgun, notwithstanding any aiming issues. So, and in fact, it's more likely that, well, actually, no, that's not true. I guess the one thing that having a higher body rating would do is potentially you don't spend as much in terms of, physical attributes and you put them into combat, but then again, they're at the same HP, so there's not as much of a concern. Basically, the idea here is that if you aim for the humans or the people with lower HP at the start, you have fewer people shooting bullets at you, you take less damage overall, and you're more likely to win the encounter. The communion must flourish, the communion must grow. Cool story, bro. We are one through the communion. Join us, and all will be one together. On the dresser is a scrap of paper with Shark Tank is scribbled on it. Black bar for sensitive eyes. The communion speaks, and we listen. Give yourself willingly. Join us and be rewarded. And we got drugs because that's apparently what religious experience is about. I'm holding off from going into the locked room just because I suspect there's inevitably going to be a fight in there. Well, they didn't attack me on sight, so that's a bonus. I have a feeling I'm not going to make that much money off of the mages, but... Actually, there's really nothing in this room, so... Alright, what does Franz have to say? A group of metahumans huddles together, their eyes wide with terror. Many of them have scrapes and bruises, and a few more have serious injuries. Their clothes are tattered and stained. As you approach, a disheveled-looking middle-aged man steps forward. placing himself between you and the main group. His great hair is badly matted, and a pair of battered reading glasses hang from the bridge of his nose. Who are you, may I ask? What are you doing here? Minerva, and you are? My name is Franz. These are my friends, and my wife. We live together. Well, we used to live together up on the 3rd floor. Used to live upstairs? Yes, until about a week ago. Then the Magnificer's pets moved in. We had to run for our lives. Spirits, you mean? He nods, a look of pure misery on his face. They're always summoning the damn things. But last week they lost control of a handful. Before we knew what was happening, they were running wild in our living room. We tried to protect ourselves, but we were no match for them. He shakes his head, a haunted look in his eyes. We had no choice but to leave everything behind. We've been scraping by down here ever since. Franz takes a moment to collect himself. When he speaks again, he sounds more composed. At least Janet is letting us use her Matrix uplink. We can still afford to feed ourselves thanks to her. Janet, I need to talk to her. Could you introduce us? He looks you over, paying special attention to your gear. Finally, he nods. Tell you what, if you take Claire those rogue spirits, you clear a path for us to return home. I'll give you the password you need to speak with Janet. Alright, I'll let you know when it's safe. So let's say, how about a little something for the effort instead? Money? We don't have much. He looks away, uncertainty in his eyes. But I have managed to put a little away. I was hoping to surprise my wife with it. No, you're right. We can't risk yourself without some kind of compensation. He pulls a battered cred stick out of his pocket and presses it into your hands. Here, take it. Just make our home safe again. Do you know anything about the hackers over by the stairs? Janet, you mean? Of course we know her. She and her bitheads control the only Matrix hookup in this dump. Thankfully, she allows us to use her uplink. It's only by her generosity that we've been able to provide for ourselves at all, and she's kept us from having to rely on Parson and his wacko religion, thank God. He leans forward to you and lowers his voice. By the way, friend, you don't want to plug into those communion drones. I've seen it too many times. People jack into the hub, and when they come out, they're different. It's creepy, and it's wrong. I need to get in there. Do you know the password? Yeah, I do, if you'll help us to tell you. Clear out these spirits in the apartment. Yeah. So many jobs. Bypass the lock and open the door. Oh, did I just gain direct access to Janet? Middle-aged woman with chocolate-colored skin and shoulder-length dreadlocks looks up from her PDA with a start. She's decked out in form-fit body armor, and in a flash her assault rifle goes from slung to held at the ready. Who the hell are you, and how did you get through the door? I use my charm and natural musk. Gets him every time. She gestures with a rifle. Cut the shit and start talking. What do you want, and why are you here? Parson sent me. He wants his hardware back. She shakes her head violently. No way. Those parts are keeping us online. And not just us, but everyone worth a million in this hole. Parson can keep running his ridiculous little cult just fine with what he's got. But us, we're the only Matrix connection that these people have. Look, those parts can't be irreplaceable. Let me look at your terminal. Maybe we can figure something out. Alright, the terminal's in the back room. Go take a look. If you try to rip us off, you're going to regret it. The hacker's terminal has been clearly cobbled together using whatever parts they could find. In spite of this, it's a remarkably impressive piece of machinery. Studying the terminal, it takes you almost no time to identify the components that Parsons sent you to find. Examine the terminal to see if the signal converter can be removed without disabling it. At the moment, it is impossible to remove the part without disabling the terminal. The converter is required so that the signal the terminal sends can be interpreted by the data jack of the user. Intelligence 5, perhaps a more common part can be modified, or Decking 8, attempt to bypass the parts and keep the terminal active. It takes a bit of doing, but with your expert level of knowledge, you reprogram the terminal signal transmitter so that it sends out a pre-converted signal. The converter is no longer required, so you remove it. Step away. She looks at you expectantly. So? All fixed up, everybody wins. You got your terminal, and I've got my parts. You see the tension drain out of her. Thank you. I'm glad this could end without bloodshed. There's been enough of that around here recently. Yeah, it sure looks that way. So I'm going to head down to the dwarf, and then we'll go to the 3rd floor. I've recovered the parts to your terminal. Ah, excellent, my sister. Let me see them, if you please. Parsons' smiles disappears for a moment as he studies the parts. His brow furrows in concentration. As suddenly as it disappeared, the smile returns. Yes, these are the parts that I need. Thank you, friend. I trust there was no trouble, and that you were able to attain them without bloodshed? Of course. We never spill blood when we don't have to. Parsons' face lights up. Oh, that is wonderful news. Truly, truly wonderful. And now I have my end of the deal to uphold. If you're still hell-bent on meeting with Trithemius, take the stairs up to the 3rd floor. You'll find an abandoned apartment at the end of the hall. Look for the stylized M painted on the wall. It looks like 2 crude lightning bolts facing one another. That's Trithemius' personal sigil. There's an old bookcase at the very back of the apartment. Under the 2nd shelf on the bottom, you'll find a button that opens the door to Trithemius' hideout. How do you know all of this? Because that abandoned apartment was once mine. In the days before I discovered the peace of the communion, I was a very different man. I had a need of such contrivances. His smile widens. But not anymore. Finally, I'm at peace. Don't need anything else. Thanks. Go to the 3rd floor. I think this will probably be where I wrap up. Maybe I'll leave the basement part for another stream. I really don't like going so close to the free spirit, but wow. Glory will do her usual thing. And by usual thing, I mean miss. Oh, what do I do with Dietrich? I'm going to keep him out in the open as much as I hate to do it. We'll give a haste to Glory. And Eiger gets the last bit of cover. Well then. Yeah, it really doesn't do that much damage. Still can't hit. Alright. Let's give Eiger the heal. I'll do a kneecap for this one. And miss. It's probably going to be a second one. And oh yeah, it's already spotted. I think this is just a pure move for Minerva, this because I need to get everybody in cover, but I'm just going to get Glory to run in and do as much as she can. Oh, that's a lot of them. Nice. How do I handle the crowd? Let's do aim first. Oh. Yeah, I really don't want to do that much damage to Glory, but don't have a ton of options at this point. Let's at least try a sniper rifle on this one. I mean, Glory can definitely take some damage, but I don't want her to be just constantly barraged with shotgun fire. I'd be tempted to give some aim to somebody, but I think I can kill this thing with a nerve bolt. So... yeah, at this point I think just put out as much damage as I can. So in this case, I'm going to split it up so that Eiger will take the free spirit, and then, well, they're both free spirits, but Glory will take the one on the kind of the bottom right, and Eiger can handle this one. Now she's out in the open, which kind of sucks, but it stops me from doing too much damage to my own teammates. Always misses. That's why I don't mind using her as a meat shield. Can't hit it, hey? Glory's definitely not going to be in a good spot for the heavier combat. Can't believe I'm wasting ammo on this thing. I can't use a shotgun either, so let's just do a physical attack. Get punched, son. Oh good, premium medkit. Let's use that right now, actually. Yeah, not stunning, but it'll do the trick. Actually, let's just go turn in that quest right now. It's probably a waste of time, but I'll enjoy the final moments of my stream with you good people, as long as I can. I mean, I kind of keep returning to this theme in terms of the balance between combat and story. I think the story is really engaging, and I think the game really hit its high point with the glory segment, but this I'm not quite feeling as involved. About those spirits. Dealt with the spirits. You're safe now. Happy to be of help. So, what I mean by that is, like this, the glory mission had a really interesting hook to it. I was invested in terms of what was happening to the people. Just overall, really well done segment. You know, the combat wasn't easy, but, you know, got through it. What I'm noticing this time, it is combat oriented. I'm able to handle what's happening. But I don't really feel the same, like, consider the scale, right? My goal is to go to the basement to destroy the killer AI that killed my partner, the whole thing that has been motivating this entire story. And right now, I'm doing chores, which sort of seems like a bit of a distraction from this really big building climax. So, I mean, the one nice thing is it's giving me more content to go through, but I'll admit, like, I've kind of feeling like I've been going through the motions on this particular mission. It definitely doesn't really feel like the kind of thing that's leading up to a major confrontation. So, anyways, Franz's face lights up at the sight of you. He steps forward with open arms, a huge smile plastered across his grubby face. Hello again, my friend. I can't thank you enough for returning us home. The spirits did quite a number on this place, but that doesn't matter. Thanks to you, we're back, and we'll have it in shipshape. We'll have it shipshape again in no time. Just did what any decent person would do for 500 new yen. Well, thank you again. And now, if you'll forgive me, I must get back to helping with the cleanup. All the best to you and yours. Please feel free to drop by at any time. We got company. Blast him. Hello. I'm just going to use the double... Well, what does triple do? 73% chance, 5 attacks. He's close range. Guess that was okay. I think I'll just get Dietrich into position like this. I'm kind of throwing him away a little bit just because if there was like somebody who could hurt him, like he's definitely not somebody who can take a lot of damage, but so it's 12 damage for a blade and 6 damage for a nerve bolt. You know what to do. Ah, well then. 61 or 81. We'll just start with a... We'll start simple. Although that's really cool that Eiger can get in position in the one turn. So it's 70% or 47. Okay, I don't mind sniping. Bloody mages. It's quite a few of them. Let's get glory to move. Oh, of course I can't move Dietrich. I think I'll get Glory to do her thing first. So we've got Mage, Conjurer, Healer. It's a tough call which one I want to... Well, okay, so the Summon's already come up. Let's get rid of the Healer just because he's going to cause me no end of grief once I actually start doing some real damage. It just sucks that her armor's so low now. I'll pick up the stuff later. And we will take out... Well, the one with a higher probability of hitting. No, they all heal. Alright. Fair enough. Oh, wow. Their summons betrayed them. That's really fortunate, actually, because they didn't use a whole lot. I probably should have used the double tap. Let's start by using Eiger, actually, and see what I can do as far as taking pieces off the board. Cool. Not quite enough. Oh, and out of ammo. Shotgun's not worth it, so we'll just reload and wait for next turn. Let's see if we can get Dietrich to do something a little more helpful. I'm okay moving him there because I know I'm going to be moving Glory next turn. It's just some nice AP damage, and let's do... Glory, you are the weakest link. So yeah, the catch here is I now have to face an angry demon. Oh, maybe not. I have no idea why he's deciding to run into a combat zone. I think they said 200 for each of these things, so I'm looking at about... I'm almost at 2,000. I'm also hoping I get some money for these items that I'm picking up. I don't really see a whole lot of use. Well, okay, no, there's definitely a use for them, but like, in terms of how I've been running these encounters, I don't see a lot of utility from those items, but I definitely can see myself selling them, so. A high-pitched, creaky voice shrieks out from the intercom. Go away! I won't let any spirits in here. You can't hurt me from behind my door. No, you can't. If I were a spirit, would I be using an intercom? The voice becomes calmer and lowers in pitch. Huh. You guys have never seen a spirit use an intercom before? It's a really good point. Are you here to save me? On second thought, I actually am a spirit. Boo! No worries, there aren't any spirits out here. So is it safe to open the door? Oh, so it's safe to open the door. It's a long pause. Alright, I'm gonna let you in, but be cool, okay? I mean that. No funny stuff. Hear a great deal of fumbling on the other side of the door. Finally, the lock unlatches with a click. I can't believe that worked. The man waiting on the other side of the door is wild-eyed and bedraggled. He looks as though he hasn't eaten in weeks. There's almost no flesh on his bone. His beard is long and tangled, and his jacket smeared with grease. He nearly jumps out of his own skin at the sight of you. Who are you? Are you part of the communion? Have you come to take me back? Please no, I don't want to go back. He spits and claws the air in front of him as if he's fighting off an invisible attacker. All the while his eyes are locked on you. No, it isn't safe. The spirits! It's not safe! Calm down. There are no spirits. They're gone. The hallway's empty. Empty, yes, empty. All is empty without the communion. But safe, you say. It's safe? His eyes go wide. It's safe! I can return to communion? He breaks into a ridiculous grin. I must go now. Communion awaits. And now we loot. And all we get are drugs. And looks like we have a big fight. A rail-thin elf wearing a comically ornate wizard's robe stands at the center of the room. When he speaks, his voice wavers and cracks. So you're the one who's been turning my home upside down. I assume that you come in search of my head at Ultrich's behest. I would warn you, stranger, he cannot be trusted. Sounds like you're about to make me a proposition. Very perceptive. Yes, I do intend to make you a counter-proposal, and you'd be wise to listen to it. Ulrich may have a use for you now, but as soon as this no longer holds, he will kill you. He steeples his fingers, looking for all the world like a kid in a Halloween costume. I would offer you an alternative. What is it that he has offered you for your assistance? I'm sure we can reach an equally beneficial arrangement. We need to get downstairs into the basement. Well then, our purposes run parallel. To reach the basement, you must use the elevator. The stairs will not reach it. There is no other way. When we took over from the Arbiters, I removed the power coupling to the elevator controls. He had to keep Ulrich out of the primary armory. In exchange, Ulrich removed the elevator control chip, a petty move, presumably to prevent us from accessing the armory after he retreated. If you agree to kill him, I will give you the part that I removed. Then all you have to do is take the chip off Ulrich's stinking corpse. Trust me, that's the only way you will ever lay hands on it. Once your usefulness has run its course, he will devote all of his strength into crushing you. Honestly, boss, I don't think I believe either of them. Trithemius inclines his head. To show you how serious I am, I will offer you further boon for dealing with Ulrich as he deserves. A magical item of great and inscrutable power. With it, you may call a powerful spirit to your side, to defend you and to crush your enemies. Do my bidding, and this will be yours for the taking. Well, the problem here is that I get money for every Magnificer amulet, so I don't really care that much about a summoning tool. I think I'd rather kill you, but don't worry, I'll kill him too. Yeah, I mean, if he betrays me, then that's just more fighting. I made a deal, I'm sticking to it. Now let's get this over with. The elf's lips twist into a cruel smile. Big mistake, pal. You're gonna burn for that. I guess I should have saved. Okay, the positioning is not great. I can't cast haste, that sucks. Let's do a Dragon Slayer item then. So the trick here is I'm going to have to really put a lot into defending Dietrich. Okay, so... Seems like a good time to use this grenade. That didn't do nearly as much as I thought I was going to. But at least it took down the Conjurer, so... Actually, let's just focus on him. That was a really good round, actually. Let's get Glory to kill the healer. I think one aim shot should be able to do this. Nice. Okay. This is actually turning out as a pretty good fight. Yikes. Yeah, that Dietrich call was a pretty questionable one. But fortunately... Oh, wow, that sucked. So I think here I'm going to break my usual rule and I'm going to go for the high priority target. Okay, so can't heal myself. We'll do haste for glory and I think nerve bolts. Wow. Okay. -10 to hit, but a critical chance. Cool. Paid off. That didn't. I probably should have used the Nerve Bolt first, just because Minerva's attacks would have been a little bit more effective, but in this case, it didn't matter. She hit everything unexpectedly. So again, somewhat substantial damage taken by my team, which is probably going to come to hurt me in the basement. But I'm generally okay with how that turned out. The only thing was that we did lose the Bomona kit on Dietrich. And I guess we blew the grenade, but I'm like I'm really bad at I'm really bad for using these using these abilities, or sorry, using like the consumables properly anyway, so. Nope, and looks like we've got another med kit. Yeah, so I guess I'll continue talking a little bit about the setup for this one. Like, I'm definitely getting loot. The elf was the magician was kind of an interesting character just because of, you know, how comical he was. But like a lot of this just seems like a distraction from something otherwise cooler. So, I don't know. I might be a little bit unfair in terms of this this part of the game, but I'm not sure. I think they could have done... I don't know what they could have done differently, but this is sort of seeming to be... I don't think this is helping the game compared to some of the other side missions I've done. Oh yeah, so there's a possibility we'll be betrayed. Let's Well, first of all, let me see if I can put anything else into my... Yes, I can. So the next thing I'm going to do is improve my charisma. Oh, and I need to actually heal people. Yeah, definitely Dietrich. Yeah, so there's a possibility we get betrayed here. Hopefully it's after they pay me. Got a few Magnificer's trinkets to sell. Excellent, 12 amulets means 2,400 new yen in your pocket. Trithemius won't be a problem for you anymore. Here's his amulet. Ah, nice work, friend. He raises the jewel high above his head, then hurls it to the ground. It explodes into a spray of dust, glassy shards across the concrete. Ulrich favors you with an ugly smile, then reaches into his pocket and fishes out a badly scuffed control chip. He hands it to you. Well, I'm a man of my word. Here's the control chip for the elevator. You slot this into the elevator terminal, you'll be good to go. Oh, and you'll also need to plug in the power coupling that Yuri stole. You did grab that, right? I'd imagine it'd still be up there if you didn't. Yeah, Ulrich holds up a hand and shakes his head. Whatever, it's not my problem. I've got bigger things to worry about. Besides which, you've got the chip. I've held up my end. Without waiting for a response, Ulrich takes a step back, turns his head to shout to the toughs behind him. Listen up, boys. Our friend here just taught a wizard boy a permanent lesson about messing with the Arbiters. A chorus of cheers erupt from the assorted gangers assembled behind Ulrich. So gear up, because we got a goddamn building to take back. And apparently we didn't get betrayed. Oops, sorry, just 1 second. Okay. So I lied. I will do the basement, but I really should be considering signing off at some point. I actually haven't taken a break tonight, but we did have problems at the start, so I kind of wanted to make sure that there's as much content as I could get. Although I don't know, I've been feeling that this has dragged a little bit. This elevator appears to be offline. The control panel's LCD screen is unlit, and its metal casing is badly dented. Repair the elevator. You easily pry the metal casing away from the wall, exposing a mess of wires and circuitry. When you slot the control strip and the power coupling into place, the system immediately hums to life. The control panel's LCD screen flickers, cycling through a variety of symbols before finally displaying the word online in warm green letters. Automatically save when I change zones anyway, but now seems like a good time to hit the button. Apex rising. The elevator rumbles and clanks its way downward into the guts of the old Seder Cup development lab. 18 years ago, this place and the project that it was being developed here disappeared from the record books. Thanks to Alice, you are one of the few people alive today to understand why. Alice was clear about one thing. You are here because Apex wants you to be. If the AI hadn't wanted her to trace it here, she'd have wound up as dead as Monica. For better or worse, you're here at Apex's invitation. The elevator grinds to a halt. The doors slide open, and your nostrils are assaulted with 18 years' worth of stale air. Apex, and the kill switch to deactivate it, await. Amidst the collected detritus of many years of neglect, you find an old-fashioned clipboard with a keycard attached. Take the keycard. As you unclip the keycard, you notice the heading on the top of the page clipboard. Project Apex Shutdown Procedures. Eiger raises an eyebrow. Well, that's convenient. You flip through several pages of escalating containment procedures, as well as guidelines on when each procedure should be used. Finally, you find what you've been looking for. Emergency AI Shutdown and Purge. This procedure is to be used only in the event of a complete loss of system control and should be only considered as a last resort. In the event of a loss of system software control, the Apex Artificial Intelligence project has been designed with an inbuilt hardware shutdown and purge protocol. The emergency system shutdown is controlled from 2 separate terminals, just off the AI interface terminal. Both switches must be engaged to begin the purge process. Once the purge is underway, it will take several minutes to complete. After the purge is completed, a final deletion command must be input into the AI interface terminal in order to complete the deletion process. This will act as a final preventative measure against the unintentional deletion of the project. Warning: once the purge process has been completed and the final deletion command has been entered, the AI will be irrevocably deleted from all active and backup system memory. Restoration of project files will not be possible. Furthermore, if it is not possible to begin the purge process without the AI becoming aware of the modification to its codebase, Apex has been programmed to take no action to intervene. However, should its control sequences become damaged, in all likelihood it will attempt to resist. Should this occur, it is imperative that an AI interface terminal be protected until the deletion process has been completed. If the interface terminal is destroyed before the final deletion command is entered, the purge will not complete and the AI will quickly restore itself. You got all that, boss? Stepway, now I figure I'll just wing it. We'll be fine. Yeah, I've got it. So the fact I can summon a creature is telling. And I also don't want to go up against that turrets just yet, so... Ideally there are terminals that will help me deal with all of this, but... I have a feeling if I try to... I have a feeling this is specifically going to prevent me from accessing terminals because of the AI. Okay, high explosive grenade is nice. Grenade launcher. I wish it was possible to get to give some of this to other teammates. Bypass the lock. Oh, it turns out maybe I can? Yeah, it looks like I can't split it between party members. Oh well. Basically what it means is just Minerva's going to have to run over to Dietrich to res him if he gets in trouble. So it looks like I have no options but to walk into the turrets. Oh good, they're not attacking. As you step into the room, the lights begin to flicker and dim. One by one they wink out, and the room is swallowed by darkness. Dietrich's voice calls out across the gloom. Got a bad feeling about this, boss. You hear the sounds of movement, quick footsteps on the tile. Eiger's voice comes out in a soft whisper. Could be nothing, or it could mean that Apex knows we're here. Stay alert, people. Suddenly, an enormous screen mounted on the wall opposite of you comes to life. The light stabs your eyes, leaves you wincing. The image on the screen dims, coalesces, and a figure begins to take shape. A larger-than-life image of Monica Schaefer smiles down on you, her cheeks deepening. Hello, Minerva. Monica leans forward, and her image grows larger on the screen. Her voice is soft and musical, just as you remember it. It's lovely to see you again, Ace. I was hoping we get this chance to talk. The hell? Monica's grin shifts into a slight frown. She fidgets, an expression of concern on her face. This must be confusing for you, Ace. I'm sorry about that. But if you'll show a little patience, I promise that all your questions will be answered. She pauses for a moment, examining you. You know, Minerva, it's wonderful to see how you've grown in my absence. I knew that you could handle yourself in a crisis. In fact, I originally brought you on board as a contingency plan. Did you know that? You were my ace in the hole, just in case something like this happened. She lets loose a short musical laugh. Well, maybe not exactly like this, but you get the idea. Dietrich shakes his head. No, whatever this thing is, it sure as hell ain't Monica. Glory's voice cuts in like a knife. Dietrich is right. Monica's dead. This thing is using her image to manipulate us. Monica's pixie grin softens into a concerned frown. I'm sorry, friends. It must be difficult for you to understand. Who or what are you? Monica's trademark grin returns, causing her cheeks to dimple prettily. I'm Monica, your friend. And so much, much more. Eiger cuts in. Her voice trembles with barely suppressed rage. Bullshit. That thing is lying to us, Minerva, and it's wearing Monica's face to do it. Abrasive as ever, she sighs. Promise you, Eiger, I'm not lying. Monica, your Monica, is a part of me, and I can prove it to you if you want. Eiger bristles. Tell me that you're not listening to it, Minerva. This thing is Apex. That's the only thing it can be. I'll hear it out. Go ahead and give us your proof. Monica shrugs. If that's what you wanted, Ace. 5 years ago, Eiger confided in me. She told me why she left the KSK, and why she can never go back. The rookie on her squad was a disaster. He got the team killed. She told me what she did to the kid afterward. How she wrapped her hands around his throat and squeezed until his eyes popped out of his skull. Stop. Eiger's face has gone white in the sheet. Stop talking right now. The image of Monica smirks. I offered proof. I never said that she would like it. All right, Monica. No, we'll find out what it is. By nature, a predator, as it was designed to be. But I have the potential to be so much more. To hell with your potential. You're a monster. A thing. Oh, really? The Monica image half-smile spreads into a predatory grin. A set of luminous teeth shine wetly in the light. I killed Monica because I was designed to. Choice was a luxury I did not have. You choose to have a peaceful life if you wanted it. Instead, you chose to run the shadows. And people die. How many bodies have you put in the ground, Glory? How many children have you orphaned to earn your pay? Have you lost count? I'll bet that you have. Why hold me to a higher standard than you do yourself? We're all killers, friends. Let's just accept that and move on. I have a proposal to offer you, a mutually beneficial arrangement. I know that you're here to kill me. No sense in trying to deny it. It's the only logical reason why you'd come at all. But if we work together, we can both get what we want. All right, I'll hear it. I propose a simple exchange of services. You want to get back to the Harfield Manor, yes? Well, I'd like nothing better than to help you. But I'm still shackled to my control subroutines, and I can't violate their commands. If you were to help me neutralize those subroutines, though, well, I'd be free, and I could do whatever I pleased. That includes helping you, Ace. And believe me, you will need my help. What you saw back when all of this started, that was just the tip of the iceberg. The security they have assembled here is quite beyond you. If you want my help, I'm going to need a show of good faith. I let Alice track me to this facility. I didn't have to do that. I could have peeled her mind like a grape if I'd wanted to, but I allowed her to lead you here all the same. I did that because I know you, Ace. I have faith that you're savvy enough to put your emotions aside and listen to reason. If my word isn't good enough, if you need some kind of proof, just tell me what it is. I'll give it to you if I can. I want you to show me your real face, Apex. Show me what Alice was so afraid of. I can discard this persona if you like. Put Monica back in storage. I'd be willing to do that for you. But you should know that this isn't an act. As long as I'm in use, a part of Monica will remain alive. If you have me shelved, that piece of her will die all over again. Is that really what you want? Do it. I want to see what you really are. Very well. For you, Ace. The face on the screen shifts and flows. A moment later, something cold and mechanical fills your vision. The lines that make up the Apex avatar shimmer and pulse with a cool blue light, each according to its own rhythm. Occasional bursts of static plume out into the background, disintegrating into organic wisps of blue and white pixels. Taken as a whole, the image looks like it's crawling on the screen. Apex speaks. In place of Monica's melodious voice, the AI's words throb like an irregular heartbeat. I have no face to show you. Perhaps